As I mentioned earlier, this is our last pill drop training, training number 4, and we're going to be talking about how to safely dispose of liquids and syringes. But before we get into that, I think we're going to have a quiz. Well, before that, we're going to go over the purpose and objective. Sorry about that. So, the purpose and objective of tonight's training is to we're going to introduce a variety of ways that we can safely dispose of unused, unwanted, expired um, prescription medications, as well as over-the-counter drugs. I know we talk a lot about opioids and other prescribed medicines, but this will also apply to over-the-counter drugs as well. And we want to increase and heighten our awareness around the best ways to dispose of these medications. And why is this important? It's important because one of the ways that people get a hold of um, our unused and old medications is through household, through the cabinets, in our bathrooms. And we don't want our children or our pets or teens to be able to use these medications that they were not prescribed. And expired, unused, and unwanted medications can cause severe harm and even death. So now we will have our quiz. So what have we learned so far? As I mentioned, we've had 3 prior trainings. So our first question, and if you want to put your answer in the chat, that would be great. Question number 1, what is the best way to dispose of medications? That was our first training. Anybody have the answer? What is the best way to dispose of our medications? There you go, yes. The best way, the number 1 way to dispose of medications is to put them in a drop box. And we will talk about that a little bit later, but you can put them in a drop box if available. Our next question, number 2, can you throw unused, unwanted, expired drugs in the trash at home? You can answer in the chat. Can we throw away our medications at home? Yes, we can. But you have to remember to, yes, there you go, some answers, yes. You have to remember these things. Remember to take the medication out of the packaging. Do not crush any tablets or capsules. Place the medication in a sealed plastic bag or a sealed container. You mix the medication, liquids or pills, with an unappealing substance like cat litter, dirt, coffee grounds. Yes, thank you, Enoch. And then you black out all of your personal information on the bottle with a black felt tip marker so people cannot get your personal information. I think we have one more question. Question number 3, can we flush prescription drugs down the toilet? Can we? Yes. Yes, good. Great. You guys been listening. Yes, it's okay to flush if you didn't receive disposal instructions when you got your drugs, you're not sure about how to dispose of expired, unused, or unwanted medications, or your medicine is on the flushing list, or a drug take back location is not available. It is okay to flush under those circumstances. Now we are going to talk about the safe way to dispose of liquids and syringes. There's a few short videos that I'd like for you to look at right now.
I'm Steve Caffone, a pharmacist at Lawrence Memorial Hospital, Today I'd like to share with you the currently recommended methods for proper drug disposal in your home. Now, these methods are recommended by the United States Food and Drug Administration, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and other agencies. This will help you remove expired, unwanted, or unneeded medicine from your home. First, look for a government-sponsored drug take-back program in your area. If there is none available, then use the following techniques. Remember not to flush anything down the toilet or pour anything down the sink or drain unless it's recommended by the government. Remove the prescription label from its container. Empty the contents into a plastic bag that can be sealed or any other sealable container. Empty the capsules, tablets, liquids, gels, ointments, anything that you're throwing away into the plastic bag, mixing it with kitty litter, sawdust, or coffee grounds, sealing the container, and placing it in the trash. This will help protect you, your family, your pets, and the environment.
Hi there, I am Crystal from Diabetes Strong, and today we're going to talk about how to dispose of needles and other sharps such as lancets and syringes. So I'm going to show you 3 ways of easily and safely disposing of sharps, whether you're on the go or you're at home. If you've been diagnosed with diabetes or any condition that requires you to do injections or draw blood on a regular basis, you probably noticed that you're now dealing with a lot of sterile equipment and thereby a lot of trash, including sharps. So sharps is a medical term for anything that can cut or puncture skin. So that includes your needles, it includes your syringes, it includes your infusion sets, lancets, it includes auto-injectors, anything that has something that can puncture skin. So once you're done with it, what do you do with it? The first thought might be just throw it in the trash. Don't do that. First of all, it's not allowed everywhere in the world. Some states, especially in the US, do not allow sharps in the trash. Second, it's a safety hazard for humans as well as animals that goes through trash. So let me walk you through how to safely and appropriately dispose of sharps. It's recommended that you store your sharps in sharps containers and dispose of them thereafter. So let me show you 3 different versions. The first version is the BD needle clipper. So this is probably my favorite. I bring this along with me whenever I travel. This little guy can store 1,500 clipped needles, and it works from everything from a 28 to a 31 gauge needle. So it's $7 on Amazon. It's fairly affordable. I'll leave a link down below so you can know where to get it. Let me show you how it works. You simply click on the sides here and it pops up. There we go. It's just a little spring, okay? Pops up and there's a little hole here where you stick in your needle. So let's take out a needle. So this is a syringe. See, there's a big needle here. There's our needle. So I simply stick it in and I just press. The needle, the sharp, is now stored in this container. That's how that works. Another option is to go to a local pharmacy or Amazon and get a sharps container. So this one, I'll leave a link down below to this one as well. It was $7 in Amazon, and it's hard plastic. And you simply, once you're done with your sharps, you just put it in a container. This container's fairly full now. There we go. And you set it aside until you're ready to dispose of it. It even comes with a lid. My third option for sharps container is completely homemade. So here we go. So this is simply an empty bleach bottle that I just washed out and I dried. And this can also work as a sharp container. Any container you have at home that's a hard plastic can be used. So something like a detergent, empty detergent bottle, something like that. Usually water bottles won't really work because they're often made of more flimsy, like thin plastic. And imagine putting a sharps into there, it'll just penetrate through the plastic. So that won't work, but this does. I just wrote on sharps and we get to go. Same concept. Once you're done with your sharps, you simply plop that in there, put on the lid, and set it aside until it's full. Don't fill it completely, but what do you do now? Now you have a full sharps container. What's next? Some places will allow you to just throw your sharps containers directly into the trash as long as it's firmly sealed. However, never throw it in the recycling bin. Sharps cannot be recycled. As I said, some places, but the rules really differ depending where you're at. So I live in California in the US, and in California, you're not allowed to throw sharps directly in the trash. Same goes for Massachusetts and some parts of Washington and some other areas as well. So it's really important that you know your local rules. So this might sound like something that's complicated, but the good thing is there's a service and it's free. It's called safeneedledisposal.org. I'll leave the link down below. And you can simply go there if you're in the US, type in your zip code, and it'll let you know where nearby that you can drop off your sharps. Fairly easy. I did that and came up with 7 locations nearby where I can go drop off my sharps, and there's even a service where they'll come to my house and pick it up for me. So that's how we do that. That's how we dispose of needles and other sharps. Thank you so much for watching.
Okay, so Maryland guidelines. The state of Maryland does not really have, or they don't provide written recommendations for disposing of sharps that you generate at home. However, each individual is responsible for ensuring that their used sharps are stored in a way that does not cause a health hazard. So Maryland doesn't have specific written guidelines. And the website that she referenced is right here. It's safeneedledisposal.org, states Maryland. So you can do further research. So the Food and Drug Administration found that there's no risk of harm to humans from accidental exposure of harmful medicines. Far outweighs any potential risk to the environment from flushing. So if you're worried about, flushing your liquids and other medications as instructed, you don't have to worry about that because the Food and Drug Administration has done some research on that and they're deeming that it's safe. Disposal of certain medications by flushing contributes only a small fraction of the total amount of medicine found in the water. And most medicines found in the water supply is a direct result of normal body elimination after you use your medicines. So what about other non-opioid drugs? So this is a website here, Drugs at FDA, and I talked about that before in one of our earlier trainings. There's a whole list of drugs, prescribed drugs, and medications and over-the-counter drugs that you can check out to see, if they're safe and what you can do with them. So do you have a drug take-back option readily available? If you do not, is it on the FDA flush list? If it's not, follow the instructions that come along with your medications for disposing of your meds in your trash at home. If it's on the flush list, you can immediately flush your medicines in the toilet. Remember to scratch out all personal information on the bottle and recycle and throw it away. And yes, if you do have a drug take-back option that's readily available, remember this is the best way to dispose of medications. You take your medicine to a drug take-back location. Do this as soon as you can. We have a couple of locations that we will show you. Your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. Does anybody have any questions? Has anybody ever had to go to the drop box and dispose of medications or flush any medicines down, the toilet or anything? Anybody have any personal experience with that?
I have a question, Dee.
Yeah.
When medicine is turned into a drop box, what happens to it at that point? Do we know, or did it? I guess we expect that the authorities would dispose of it, or
That's what it's, because typically it's either at a drug like a CVS or police station, and I guess the pharmacist or the authorities, the police, they dispose of it somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. Does anybody know what happens to the medicines after they're in the drop box? I can find out. That's
Are they
interesting.
burned?
Burned?
I don't know. I was just wondering. Are they burned?
I don't know. Not sure. I don't know if they're in. Maybe I can research it and find out. Though.
I'm aware that for illegal drugs, they have an incinerator that they take those drugs to. But I am not sure about prescription medication. I would assume that they use the same methodology to destroy it.
Okay.
thank you.